Alright, you tool addicted maniacs, today I got a treat for you. We're getting ready to check out a brand new wrench set from Work Pro Tools. Not only do we have a 7-piece standard and metric reversible ratcheting wrench set, these ratcheting wrenches have a special feature on them that you don't find on everyday ratcheting wrenches. And that feature is a combination of a 6 and 12 point boxed in design. So let's check them out. In this particular video, I want to be focusing on the wrenches themselves. There's no doubt that having a ratcheting wrench will enhance the performance of your repair. Whenever it comes to ratcheting wrenches, you ain't got no shortage of options. And not every wrench is going to be ideal for every situation. I say the more options you have, the better off your performance will be. There is a variety of ratcheting wrenches out here for you to choose from. You got the straight body, the reversible ratcheting wrench, the flexing ratcheting wrench, you got the stubby ratcheting wrench, the extra long double-sided ratcheting wrench, quad box ratcheting wrenches, and then you got the tooth count to factor into it. 72 tooth, 90 tooth, 120 tooth. Like I said, the more options you have, the better off you are. But one of those ratcheting wrenches will outperform the other depending on the situation you got yourself into. So anytime you have access to more options, it's just better for you. When it comes down to the brass tacks of things, ratcheting wrenches were never designed to be a breaker bar. They're not intended to be regular combination wrenches where you can double them up and try to break a C-fastener loose. They're specifically designed for speed and convenience. You get yourself into a tight confined space, a regular boxed in wrench ain't gonna help you because you can't turn it. A low profile socket wrench set ain't gonna help you either. But having a ratcheting wrench with the right features and the right size is gonna do everything you need it to do. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. The wrenches we're looking at here today is just another great option for do-it-yourselfers and professional tradesmen alike. All the specifications are here on screen. Direct links will be provided in the description box below. Each one of these are a 7-piece set with the standard in red and the metric in blue. Size range here is 5/16 to 3/4, skipping the 11/16. Then we've got 8 through 17, skipping 9, 11, and 16. Now, since these are made as complementary sets, you got the 7/16 covering the 11, 5/8 covers 16, 17 covers the 11/16, and 3/4 covers the 19. Essentially, both of these sets combined do cover your most commonly used fastener types that you'll come across on a daily basis. The opened end here does have a 15-degree offset with a recessed flush mount reversing lever on the boxed in side of this. It's nice and smooth functioning. There's no hang-ups in it. The boxed in has a 72 tooth count gear head producing 5 degrees of arc swing for easy engagement in tight confined spaces. But what makes these particular wrenches special above the rest is the fact that they've got the 6 and 12 point boxed in design. That's what makes this a 2-in-1 ratcheting wrench. The overall design itself is similar to the quad box ratcheting wrench. On the quad box here, you can clearly see that there's 3/4 on this side. You flip it over, it's 11/16 on this side. You got 2 different sizes on each end of the wrench. Instead of having 2 different sizes on each end of the ratcheting wrench, whenever you pick up the Work Pro here, you have 2 different types of boxed ends. On the top side, which is the side with the reversing switch, you're going to get that 6-point boxed in design, and on the rear side, you're getting a 12-point boxed in design. Typically, 12-point is going to be your most popular and most common type of wrench used in the trade. 12-point is simply a very versatile option to have. You can easily take a 12-point wrench and line it up at different angles to ensure adequate leverage in tight confined space. They also fit 4-point square, E-torque 6-point, and 12-point fasteners. 6-point side over here is basically limited to E-torques and 6-point hex. So the 12-point is going to be great for angles in tight confined space, but the design itself places all the force on the corners of the fastener. That's going to increase the likelihood of rounding and slippage. In certain situations, you really need that 6-point boxed in design, made with off-corner loading, which basically covers a wider surface area and provides a stronger grip. That'll reduce slippage and rounding during high torque situations. Now, both of these options are going to be great to have, especially on the same wrench. Instead of buying 4 separate sets of wrenches, you can buy 2 and reduce the amount of bulk that you got inside your toolbox. Not only could you eliminate the need for multiple wrenches, but also eliminate the need for pass-through socket wrench sets as well. Pass-through socket wrench set is basically a very popular tool for anyone who's working on jam nuts and long threaded rods. Ratcheting wrench will do the exact same type of job as a pass-through socket set with a few limitations. The ratcheting wrench will work, but they constantly need held to the fastener itself whenever you run it up and down that threaded rod. If not, they're just going to fall right off the fastener. That can be a hassle to deal with for anyone who's done it. Whereas a pass-through socket wrench set's basically going to rest on top of the fastener and it doesn't fall off. Luckily, these Work Pro wrenches are the best of both worlds. Ratcheting wrench you can stick over a long threaded rod, but you got to hold it in place so it don't fall off the fastener. Advantage is you'll be able to move down to the next fastener if you need to. Pass-through socket wrench set, it'll rest on top of the fastener and won't fall off. But if you need to get to the fastener below that, you're not going to be capable of doing it. Which means either way, you'd probably have to utilize an open boxed in wrench or 2 different wrenches to get the job done anyway. These wrenches here from Work Pro, you could easily line up the boxed ends so that each point of the fastener will rest on the 6-point corners. This way you don't have to hold it onto the fastener and you ain't got to worry about it going through it. It basically does the exact same thing as what a pass-through socket wrench set would do. Rest right here on top of this fastener, you ain't got to hold it to it, you ain't got to worry about it falling off. In the event that you did want to move it and get down to the fastener beneath it, all you have to do is lift up on the ratcheting wrench and rotate it about 30 degrees and put it back down on the fastener. It'll pass directly over top of that fastener down to the next. Now, as someone who has been in the trades for well over 2 decades now, I've come across many situations where a wrench like this will be perfect for the job on hand. There's going to be certain tight confined situations that you get yourself into where you're trying to line up a fastener. You are trying to line up a bolt inside of a hole, or you're trying to get a fastener on a threaded rod. Wrenches like this will definitely be the best tool to have. We've all been there where you took the fastener itself and you stuck it inside of a socket wrench and you tried to guide it back inside the hole. The problem is it's a little bit too thick thick and bulky for it to fit. Whenever you get it on top of that threaded rod, you got to have enough arc swing to get it started on the thread. Most of the time there's enough slop in between the anvil of the ratchet and the socket that it's not going to allow you to get the proper arc swing that you're trying to attain. Of course, you can put it inside of a standard combination wrench, but then you're going to have to tape it on there, find a magnet to hold it in place where you're guiding it down inside that hole. There is certain open end wrenches out here that are designed for you to be able to put the fastener down inside of them, but you're still not going to get that arc swing if you're trying to line it up and thread it on. Pass-through socket wrench set would be ideal for a job like this, but once again, the amount of clearance that you're going to have with a pass-through socket wrench set still might factor into the situation. With these Work Pro 2-in-1 wrenches, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You take your fastener, you stick it inside the 12-point side of the boxed end, and you align the points of that fastener with the 6-point side of this boxed end. That alone will hold it in place until you got it back inside that hole and get it threaded on whatever it is that you're working with. I would much rather have a tool in my toolbox and not need it, opposed to needing a tool and not having it. Like I said, these are very practical, functional tools to have. They are meant for speed and convenience. Anybody who is a traditional mechanic is going to have a tool set like this on hand in the event that you need it. Anyone who uses their tools the way they're intended to be used could use tools like this for a professional or do-it-yourself job. Personally and professionally, I think these are well worth having just to try them out. If you come across these 2-in-1 reversible ratcheting wrenches, why don't you comment down below, let me know your thoughts and opinions based on your experience. Otherwise, you can pop the clutch and that subscribe button because we're going to take these tools and test them in the trades.